All right. And there. Okay, cool. All right. Hey guys, hello. Hey everybody. Why isn't it not? Isn't it not? Okay, cool. All right, cool. Oh, that's why it's okay. 7 and 6 plus. There we go. Okay, cool. Now we're on. All right. Hey guys. Hey everybody. Hello. Hey. Hey. All right. I'm here. Give me a second. I'm getting my mind wrapped around everything I'm doing. Hope y'all are doing well. All right, folks, let's get started here. So this is our weekly live. We do these on Wednesdays and on Fridays. There's like a lot of wind over here. We're having like a major windstorm. So just FYI, like it sounds like the roof wants to like fly off any minute now. So I'm like looking up because it's just kind of freaking me out. All right, so for those of you who are new to my lives, I get on here every Wednesday and Friday to do lives for y'all, and y'all get a chance to ask me your questions. Your questions can either pertain to like a live situation that you want clarity on, or if you want to connect with the spirit, who do you want to connect to? So if you're asking about a live situation, make sure your question is specific. What I mean by specific means this is what not being specific means. You know, if someone asks, what do you see? Not specific. I want a live reading? Not specific. What can you tell me about? Not specific. What do you see? What do you feel? I want a love reading? Not specific. These are not specific questions. So every time you type that, you're basically wasting your time, because you could have just typed out your question and I could have seen it and then I could have responded to it. So make sure you ask a specific question. Your specific question should pertain to a situation or issue that you're wanting clarity on. So if you want to know, like, you know, hey, when do you see me, you know, having a baby? I'm trying to have a baby. When do you see baby energy around me? You know, are so-and-so going to stay, so-and-so and I going to stay together? Is my marriage going to work? Like, you can ask about whatever you want to ask about, but it's got to be specific. So that's a specific question, right? Let's make sure. There it goes. That's a specific question. If you are asking, get myself comfortable here because I need to like get right. So that's a specific question. So if you are asking a general question, you're going to miss the opportunity to ask me a question. If you want to connect to a loved one in spirit, who do you want to connect to? And you don't have to tell me all their information. You can just say, I want to connect to my dad, or I want to connect to my Uncle Bobby, or whatever. So just FYI. And so that's all I need. And then I'll intend to connect with that person, and then I'll bring through any information that I can. With mediumship or spirit communication, it's a lot better to come on video with me, just because there are things that I'm not going to be able to share through comments, because I need to validate or clarify some things that I may be confused about in my head. And so the only way for me to fully give you like a full experience is if you come on video. If not, you don't want to, you just want to go through comments, go ahead and post your you know, who you want to connect to. And I will try to bring through anything that might be relevant. But there's just really no way to confirm that or to affirm that with you, because again, text version, and these comments are going like crazy. So it's not like I'm sitting here watching all my comments while I'm doing readings. I literally am very good at tuning out and zoning out of what's going on the screen. So I'm not even gonna know what's going on, because I'm more focused on what I'm doing. So just FYI with that. So if you want to come on video, you need to do so either through TikTok or through Instagram. That is the only two places that I do video at. So that's where you will go to connect to video. And on TikTok, let's see, Xtina will probably she'll jump in here in any minute now. And Xtina's my moderator, and she'll let you guys know what you need to do to kind of begin to share, to ask your questions, or if you want to come on and request to be a video guest. There is a button that says multi-guest or multi, and if you click that, that will open up the option for you to come on video with me on TikTok. And you need to make sure you turn on your video, because most people, when they come on, it won't have it turned on. So if you come on and the video is not showing, just click that multi-guest button, or that like loopy thing, and it'll allow you, it's like two little like figures, it'll allow you to go ahead and turn on your video. Okay, if you're on Instagram, all you have to do is just on the bottom here, just click the little like plus button or whatever, and it allows you to request to be a video guest, and then I'll pick some people. When I start these lives, usually I'm coming off of my I'm coming off of my appointments, so I'm a little tired, so I have to build up my energy. So I like to go through just psychic questions first on comments, just because it's my way of being able to charge myself up as I'm doing it and line up with the energy so that I can connect with spirit much more easily. So I'll start doing more spirit questions towards the second half of the live, okay? If you're on TikTok, just know I am not a robot. I don't respond within seconds of you asking your question. So if you're jumping on here and you think I'm going to be able to respond back to you within seconds of you asking your question, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to leave. So just so you know, sometimes some of these questions y'all are asking right now, I'm probably not even going to see these until 20 minutes from now, 30 minutes from now. So be aware, you're going to need to have some patience because I'm not going through and answering everybody's questions right as they're asking it. So y'all are going to have to have some patience for me. So just FYI with that. And so just the way it works. We also have Twitter and Facebook and YouTube as well. I can see y'all's questions. I cannot bring you on live because I'm using everything. What you're receiving is you're receiving my Instagram feed and my TikTok feed. So whenever I'm doing Instagram video, I'm going through Instagram, I will show you the feed, and then y'all will be seeing that. When I switch over to TikTok, y'all will see that feed, and then y'all will receive that. But y'all can't come on video, so y'all will either have to get onto Instagram or get onto TikTok. So just FYI with that. All right. So if you want to know more about me and what I do for a living, or just, want to schedule some time with me, get over to my website, FernandoMarron.com. Everything is on there for y'all, easily to find. If y'all ever message or instant message me, or, private message me or whatever, I'm probably not going to respond because I don't. Everything has to go through my website. So personal private readings require you to make an appointment, which you do so through my website. If you ever receive information from, if you ever get contacted by someone that either is Fernie ESP something else, then it's probably not me, it's probably a scammer. I only do Fernie ESP. I only have this one on Instagram, this one on TikTok, Fernie ESP. So anything that's different than that is probably not me, is a scammer. So just FYI, because I don't have no backup accounts. And I don't go looking to do readings when I'm off, because I do enough readings on my work days. And so for me to get back and to do free readings is right now, during the Wednesdays and the Fridays. I don't go looking to get free readings on other days or random times if you message me. Not going to happen. So just FYI, I have boundaries. I respect my own boundaries. And so if you want to schedule an appointment, get over to my website. If not, just come back here every Wednesday, every Friday, because I do it every Wednesday, every Friday for free. I disabled on TikTok, y'all, the ability for y'all to give me gifts, because the gifts get on my nerves and I don't need them. I don't need the money. I make plenty of money through my appointments, my private appointments. So I don't need to be doing this for money. I'm doing this because this is my chance to give back, because some of y'all just can't afford a session, or it's just, some people just, they don't want to wait, and that's okay. So that's what these are for. It's for me to get back and for me to do this for y'all, so that way y'all can get a chance to ask me your questions and whatnot. So for those of you who are used to being on TikTok and giving gifts or things or coins or whatever to the psychics to get them to read, I don't operate that way. I'm just going to go based off of what I'm getting pulled into or what I'm feeling connected to. Okay. All right. As usual, my statements are personal opinions, not guaranteed future events. Whatever decisions or actions you take, you are 100% responsible and liable for. You can change your future. It's never set in stone. I know a lot of people worry about that, but you really can if you want to. And I am not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. You can still ask me those kinds of questions, but for legal medical advice or treatment, please consult a licensed professional. I think that's it. So psychics, we don't see everything, we don't know everything. If you believe that psychics know all and see all, you're going to be disappointed, because no psychic knows all or sees all. We can be very good at what we sense, but for the most part, psychics sense things. They don't know everything or see everything, and that's a big difference. So whenever I do a reading for someone, I tune in to that question, or to, if I do a full reading, if I were doing a full reading, which I'm not doing them here, I do those in private. But when I do a full reading, I tune into that area of their life, or if it's a question, which is what we're doing here, I tune into the question and I want to know the answer, because I want to share with you whatever I can. Information comes to me in three ways. I'm either going to see a visual or a symbol in my mind that I probably need to interpret. I'm going to feel emotions connected to your future experiences and what's going to come up. I'm also going to have memories come up, because my brain is trying to use what I'm familiar with to help me understand the answer. So it'll use something that I can relate to or I can understand in meaning. And so it'll use memories and experiences and situations that I've encountered before to help explain what you may go through as well. So just FYI with that. With spirit communication, they essentially are using the same method to communicate with me. So they don't, it's not like I'm seeing a spirit right in front of me and I can see every single detail about them. It doesn't work that way for me. It's not like I'm hearing them in my ears and they're speaking perfect English and speaking in perfect sentences. It doesn't work that way for me. When they communicate with me, they connect with my mind. In the moment that they connect with my mind, they have access to my thoughts, my emotions, and my memories. And so what they're going to do is they're going to trigger something within me. My job is to pay attention and figure out what it means. So it's very similar to being psychic, except I'm letting them trigger the things. I'm not asking them the questions, because if I ask the questions, they might be able to answer back, but sometimes they're already giving me information before I'm asking. So I just let them kind of dictate where they want to take the conversation. But I am using the same processes in my brain that I use with psychic ability. This is why I tell people, if you want to be a psychic, if you want to be a mediumship, you have to develop the same basic skills because you will use them when you're doing either or, which is why I'm able to do either or. So they will trigger things within me. My job is to pay attention and figure out what that means. Sometimes it's fairly simple and clear and to the point. So if I see a date, for example, a number, I associate that with a date, which is the date of significance. So it could be a birth date, death date, anniversary date, etc. So if I see the number 3, for me, that's the number 3 is the third of a month, any month, or the month of March, because it's the third month. So that's how I associate numbers. It could be mean other things, but I normally associate that with dates. When it comes to names, they're going to give me the closest name I can relate to as possible, because I don't already remember people's names to begin with. I don't have a whole lot of names saved in memory. So just FYI, they're going to reach for something that I can understand or grasp. So if someone's name is Shelby, they may give me Shelly or Sharon or Shira. They're going to give me as close to it as possible. So that's how it works. And it's either their name, the name of someone that's with them, or the name of someone in spirit that they want, the name of someone in spirit that's with them, or the name of someone that's alive that they need to bring up in the conversation because we've got some things to talk about. So just FYI when it comes to names. If you come on video with me, just know that sometimes people in video get a little scared, get a little camera shy, or like your brain kind of farts. And so it's okay. It happens all the time. If you're not clicking or something's you're not understanding something, because I go very fast, that is okay. This is recorded. It's going to be available online. You can come back to it and listen to it again, because there's going to be some things that you may not realize in the moment. So if you cannot understand something, don't worry. I'm just going to keep going, and give you as much as I can. Okay? All right, let's get started here. I'm not going in any particular order. So let's start with here. Robin Sellers, hey darling, do you see me changing jobs, and if will it be in the same field? I do. I feel like it's possible, Robin, that you might be able to get into a business that someone you're gonna know owns or has. And so I feel like you might have an opportunity for something like that by the summertime or at the end of summer, like July, August. However, I'm kind of thinking you're still going to maintain a job within the same field that you're working in. Either you might go to like a part-time role, or you may just switch into a different role by the end of the year. But this other one that may be with a business thing, that may still come up. So it would not surprise me if you actually find yourself doing two things this year, but one goes down to a part-time level because you're doing a business. You're working with in a business for someone that you know. Okay. Hey, Apache. Yeah, Apache. We found an old Bible my granny left behind. Does it have any significance? Yeah, I actually think this might have been a gift. So I feel like she might have been gifted that. I want to say probably, around the timing when young girls are becoming women. So I feel like around that time she might have been gifted. I wonder if there was someone who actually worked in the church or was a pastor in the family. Because I kind of feel like it's like, oh, I'm wanting someone to kind of move in a specific direction. And so I'm going to give them this to kind of give them a nudge. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with it. But I feel she might have been gifted that around her like teenage years. So just FYI with that. But that would be the significance in my opinion. So I feel like I was just like something that was passed on. But it doesn't feel like it was new when it was passed on. It might have been gifted, but it actually belonged to somebody else before her. So this might be 2 or 3 generations old, in my opinion. Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Melanie, I don't get a lot of spiritual questions on here, which is cool because I love spiritual questions. What's the difference between angels and spirits? So there is a whole if you ask anyone in the spiritual community what's the difference between angels and spirits, you're going to get a bunch of different answers. This is what I've come to understand based on my experiences. Okay, people who have lived before, who have personalities, are spirits, right? They're spirits. An angel, from what I understand, and it depends on what frame of reference for angels, because there are experiences that people had with beings or with I won't say creatures, but with beings in history that they call angels. But there are also other things that people associate with angels. Usually people confuse spirit guides with angels. Spirit guides are not angels. Spirit guides are just people. No wings, none of that. Just people. Angels, from what I've come to understand and from what I've learned through my conversations with Aja, my soul, my higher self, is that angels are simply a form of energy that are based in love and are task based. So when you think of something that's just a ball of love, that's task based, that's love, an intention, a love intention. But it takes on a form of something we can identify with or that we feel comforted by. And also the wings are an expression of heightened ability to operate above the boundaries of this physical existence. Because when we think of birds fly over things. They fly through, they don't really get bombarded, or they're not stuck on the ground like we are stuck on the ground. So the angel's wings are a representation of what it represents and how that operates within the spectrum of this reality. So when I think of angels, I don't think of people or a person, even though they may come across or look to some people like people with wings. I think of it as just a ball of energy, a pure form of energy that has an intent. It's not a person or personality, doesn't have a life, doesn't have a character, doesn't have none of that. That's a spirit guide. A lot of people mix spirit guides with angels, and they try to make it sound like the two are the same thing, and they're not. They're two separate things. But yeah, that's it. And then spirits are our loved ones who have passed on, who were in life, and then they've gone over to the other side. Spirit guides are also people who have lived lives, but their primary focus in the spirit world, their primary focus is simply just to act as a guide for us as we go through life, because we have a chart. It's kind of like a guidance counselor when we're in school. They're like pretty much keeping us on track, and they're trying to help us to kind of align with what we're supposed to, that will help us to achieve the goals we had on the soul level before we came into life and forgot everything. Okay, so that's what a spirit guide is. There's two ways of doing it. How do I find out who my spirit guide is? There's two ways of doing it. You can try to do it through the traditional method. In other words, a lot of people were taught about meditation and how to do it through meditation. Most people are not going to sit there and chant peanut butter and meditate for hours at a time. It's just not going to happen. So what I would recommend is a little more down to earth, and how I got my spirit guide's name. My spirit guide's name is Kathleen. Originally I thought it was Catherine, but she corrected me when I got that incorrectly. It's Kathleen. And so that's my spirit guide's name. And this is my guide, my main guide from beginning to end of my life. And so you can find out a couple of ways, but one way is just go through a meditation and a focused meditation. And there's a lot of you go on YouTube, you can find a lot of spirit guide meditation, videos that will walk you through the process of trying to meditate to get it. But the thing about it is, if you become a bit obsessed and super focused on something because you're kind of desperate for it, you actually end up pushing it away, and you build a barrier or a wall there that it's hard for them to communicate through. So, but they're in communication with us all the time. We're just not aware of it. So it's not really them that needs to make the contact with us, because they're aware all the time. They're literally a witness in our head. You know that Big Brother idea, there's a camera always following. They're that camera in your consciousness, always with you. So they're aware. They know what's up all the time. But if you want to connect with them to have a conscious communication, my number one tip to do is just right before you go to bed, intend to have a connection with them. Don't build it up in your head. Don't make it like this, the clouds have parted and descended down is the spirit guide. No, don't do that, because all you're doing is building up the energy and building a barrier. That's why a lot of people don't have psychic experiences or have spiritual experiences with spirits, because they build a barrier of expectation and pressure for how they think it's supposed to be because of Hollywood or whatever. Just make it everyday stuff, I'm answering a phone call. Hey, what's your name? Oh, okay, cool, thanks. And then hang it up. So what you do is right before you go to bed, just envision or pretend that you're in this like empty room in your mind. Pretend there's an empty room there, nothing in there. It's a dark room, nothing's there. You don't know what that is, or what, if you can't even visualize that, just pretend, just think back to when you walked into a room and the lights were off and you were stumbling around because you were trying to figure out where the light switch was and you didn't know what it was in the room. That's an experience that you can pull that to help you to connect. But just pretend like you're in an empty room in your mind right before you go to bed, and then in the middle of that room, pretend or envision or imagine that there's a chair there that says spirit guide. That's it. And then, as you fall asleep, envision that there's like a shadow going in to sit down in the chair, but just fall asleep that the shadow is going to start to like reveal itself to you or share information about itself with you. And so fall asleep, and that's it. And say, I invite you to visit with me. If you can't make it if you can't make it tonight, fool, I'll see you tomorrow night or whenever you can. But I'm gonna keep doing this tonight and every night for a few weeks just to see if I can make it easy for you to like connect with me. And that's it. And you might have to do it a few times. It took me 2 weeks to do it, to get it to happen. So you might have to do it several times for a week or two. And then usually the moment that you like just lighten up and chill and relax about the whole thing, that's usually when you receive a communication, because you shut down the wall and the barrier of expectation and pressure. Okay. Yeah, Sarah Woods. Hi, Franny. Will I get an offer on the Insperity job? I'm gonna say yes. I actually think you might get an offer. However, you might have to work with the money thing, because the offer or the amount might not line up with what you were expecting. So you might have to work on getting that tweaked. Okay. Miriam. Hi, Fernie. When do you see my husband getting a new job? Do you see us relocating this year? I feel like it might take a while. And I'm not thinking y'all are gonna relocate this year. I think there may be a relocation in February or March of next year, about a year from now. So I'm thinking it's gonna take a year. He might find a new job or get a new job later in the year, maybe October, November-ish. So right before the holidays. Okay. Janetta, needing advice for my daughter who is 10 years old. She has seen spirits for the last 3 years. So some of this may not be spirits. Some of this may be her own persona. What I mean by this is, granted, she's at that age, right? That hormones are changing. And typically when hormones are changing around that age, what tends to happen, especially with females, is that a lot of emotional energy becomes expressed in energy form, and it can become very confusing because some people may automatically assume, oh, there's like activity or there's ghosts around or whatnot, but sometimes it's their own energy that they're having experiences with. What I actually think is happening is I think she's actually having a shift in her energy and consciousness because of hormonal changes and because she's going through a lot, especially with energy with people and everything in school. I feel like what's happening is that she might be having experiences where some of what she's seeing is versions of herself in this lifetime. Some of what she's seeing are versions of herself from prior lifetimes. A lot of this may not be spirit. So just FYI, she might be having experiences that aren't actually ghosts or spirits that are just showing up. Some of this might actually be her own energy, and then energy from memories of other lifetimes that are starting to show up or play out. And she's becoming aware of it. Okay. I do think that there's a lot of internal stuff that's happening with her that you need to pay more attention to, because that may be a key to helping this to kind of settle down a little bit. It may not all be spirit. I'm not saying she hasn't seen zero spirits. I'm just saying a lot of it may not be spirit. A lot of it may be a lot of her own stuff that she's processing and going through right now. Yeah, Steph, so pretty. Do you feel like there's potential long-term relationship with Joel? He's made it clear that he's interested. I think that y'all may teeter-tatter around with each other. I just don't. Just because he's interested doesn't mean that he's invested. There's a difference between that. I'm interested in having experiences. I'm interested in spending time together. I'm attracted. That's interest. Relationship long term is a whole nother ball game. So I would say that he might be good for like something that might just be short term or casual. I'm not feeling confident about a long term opportunity with him, just because he might give you mixed signals and then he may start to kind of detach or ghost. So just be aware of that. There might be a little bit of that that he might have a tendency of doing. So don't rush into anything. Have fun. Don't put any pressure on it. Okay, go over here. Heart of the Wild Studio. Do you see Daniel and I getting married and having children? That's too much pressure for the future. So pull it back a little bit. Do you see Daniel and I actually like progressing into the next year? I would say I'm a little teetering with that because I'm not feeling like there's a progression of the connection with you and Daniel. That doesn't mean that this can't be worked through or that these are not issues that can be resolved. But I feel like there's a 6 to 7 month period where something feels like it's shifting in the connection between you and Daniel. So whatever's going on right now with you and Daniel, I feel like something shifts with this in about a 6 or 7 month period from now. So towards the end of the year. If you work past that, then it could lead to more. I'm not even going to throw marriage or children into the equation because I'm not seeing that. I'm only seeing what's coming up in about 6 or 7 months and having to work past that. So if you can make it past that, then there's potential for more. But I'm not feeling confident about what's going on with the relationship in the 6 or 7 month mark from now. Okay, so it's stuff to work through because it could create a detachment or disconnect with the relationship that you'll have to be aware of, or with the connection. So you may just like start to feel that pull apart. Amara, freaking. Fernie, what does my manager have against me? I kind of feel a little bit of. I kind of feel like some of this has to do with. I feel like this is what's it called? When you're holding someone's like level against them. The way I want to describe it, this could either be, I honestly think that this might either be either to some extent racial or level within a race. What I mean by that. So here's an example of this. So in like Hispanic culture, we got like the whitewash Hispanics, and those are the whitewash Hispanics. Like you'll know the whitewash Hispanics because they come across very differently and they kind of separate themselves from traditional Mexican culture. So like being from Texas, being from Houston myself, you know, people who were from like San Antonio or people who were like, I have a lot of people in my family who are whitewash Hispanics who elevate themselves or kind of separate themselves from the Hispanics who just got off the bus, right? Or just got past the river. So there's these like inner culture splits or separations that tend to happen. And usually it's based on money or like wealth, money. And so I feel like with the situation with the manager, I feel like there may be something like that feels this way. I have an old friend who we had a falling out over the stupidest thing. And her go-to about that was because I'm from the hood or because I came from the background that I did. And I was like, okay, like what does that have to do with this situation altogether? And how you're trying to turn this into like, oh, well, because I'm from the hood, I don't have morals or I don't have values. Like, what the fuck is that, right? So it feels like that. Like there's this like sense of like where it's two different levels. Either they came from a different background than you did, or they came from a place where they feel like they are better than you. Like that's the feeling that I get with it. So I feel like there's an energy of that's around the reason why they're being the way they are with you. Okay, that, and also I think that they're a moody person to begin with, so that may be a part of the equation. No. Yes, it's not Sam. Hi, Franny, Samantha. Are Marlon and I meant to be romantic soulmates? Will we try to be together? You're not soulmates. I do think that y'all may communicate and interact in a way where it's definitely beyond just friends, but I'm not feeling a relationship or long-term connection there. So I'm not feeling confident about anything like that. Okay? Don't let anybody talk you into the idea that y'all are soulmates. People love to go to psychics because they want to hear the psychics storm, because it's like crazy outside. It's like freaking crazy outside. So that's why. But yeah, don't end up going to a psychic and then let the psychic con you into the idea that you and this person that you have a toxic relationship with, or that you've been trying to be with forever and they obviously rejected your ass, or that they don't want to be with you but you're just hooked on them, that you can't get past them, or whatever reason. Don't let the psychic tell you that that person's your soulmate, or that they can help you to like come together if you pay them a certain amount of money, because you will be scammed. The idea of soulmates has scammed so many people. Don't buy into the idea of soulmates. Soulmates is not as common as people want to believe in. Twin flames, same thing. You ain't half a person. You ain't half a soul walking around. You know, if you were half a soul walking around, you would be like walking in circles. You ain't walking in circles. You ain't operating in circles. You ain't living your life in circles. You are a full self-aware soul. You ain't half a thing. So don't let that happen, because people will use that as a way to manipulate you and scam you. Camila, will I find a way to clear my scars on my stomach? I feel like you'll try twice to reduce these and to help to minimize them. I don't feel like you're ever going to get rid of them. So just be prepared. You may have to deal with scars in your life, but I feel like you'll end up making them better. So I do think that you will find a way to like improve them. I just don't feel like they're ever going to go away. Okay, that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep trying, but I'm just feeling like, and if you're basing your happiness and worth and value on the scars in your stomach, you're wasting your time, because there are other things in your life that you could actually get more meaning and confidence from besides your physical body. Because at the end of the day, let's say like I spent 10 years trying to get my body right, and then now age kicks in, and age is a bitch, and age is going to take you down and make everything sag and everything look like a scar. And at that point, what you going to do then? Unless you're going to keep trying to do like a procedure every 2 years, at that point you're going to run out of skin, and then at some point you're going to be see-through and you can be bone. So there's no point in even trying to obsess over your physical body, because your physical body is just a ride through this world and through the reality of life. That's all it is meant to be. And we spend too much time and money focused on the physical body, and then we get it closer to where we want to get it to, and then age kicks in, and that's it. You're gonna be screwed either way. So find another way to make yourself happy and to feel confident in yourself. Yeah, crowning crows. Good question. I've worked in the mental health field for some time now, and those diagnosed with schizophrenia claim to be connected to higher beings. What's your take on it? Because I've met highly enlightened people. I think it says people. Yeah, so, when it comes to mental illness, there's a lot of people who claim to be psychics or mediums and are not actually being psychic or mediums, and they are suffering from mental conditions. And I've actually written an article about this on medium.com, and I believe that like over 50% of the people in this industry, or who claim to be this, are suffering from some sort of mental condition. I should know, because my mother is a schizophrenic. She's a diagnosed undifferentiated schizophrenic. So she deals with it, been dealing with it with her since I was a kid. And I was always worried that maybe I was starting to become a schizophrenic or develop a mental illness because of what I experienced and what I've done on a spiritual level. And I went to doctors and I tried to figure out what was going on. But there was nothing wrong. And once you start having psychiatrists coming to you for readings, at that point you kind of need maybe I'm not like crazy. Maybe there's something there. Because if a psychiatrist is coming to me for a reading, obviously they don't think I'm crazy either. So it just depends on the person. But if a person truly and honestly wants to validate what they're doing, or they actually care that it's authentic and genuine, they're going to provide evidence, period. People who walk around and make claims and provide zero evidence get zero credit for the work. And so if someone says something, they better have evidence. There are people who post stuff online all the time and they'll say, oh, I've been predicting this for years, but you go and look and there's nothing there. They have nothing that even correlates or even is showing you what they originally said. And so those are situations where people they're trying to make themselves feel better, or they are struggling with the condition. But if you have the ability if you have a developed ability, because we all have the ability, if you have a developed ability and skill, and your claims are not just claims, they're actually evidenced, then there should be easy evidence. You should have the receipts to back it up. I've got receipts. I've got a dedicated page on my website. Go to fernandomarron.com, go to prophecies and predictions, public predictions, and so forth, and you will see a lot of the public predictions that I put out there and what it actually ended up happening, and the ones that I got right, the ones that I missed, and so forth. I don't have them all on there because it takes time to go and find what I said and then put it up there, but I have a crap load on there already. That's evidence. That's proof. That's means something. So people who say this or that, it's hard for them to prove it. And people who are afraid of putting themselves out there, they're not going to make very accurate predictions or very specific predictions, and they'll generalize everything that they do. Oh, I feel this dark energy around you, and I feel like you've got a shadow of guilt around you, or but they won't actually tie it into some specific situation or give people information that is relevant or that is specific enough. They just generalize everything. That's not really being psychic. That's just being intuitive. We all are we're all intuitive. We can all sense things, but you're not really being psychic. You're not using your brain. You're using either tarot cards or oracle cards or pendulums or whatever. That's not being psychic. You only need your brain to be psychic. That's it. So that's how I feel about that. And whenever I get emails from people and the emails are incoherent and they're going on these tyrants about they're being possessed, or they see devils or demons, as soon as I start seeing someone going on a tyrant and it's incoherent sounding, I don't even interact with that person, because that person is someone that needs to go to a physician or a doctor and get diagnosed. They don't need someone like me to make them feel like what they're experiencing is real, when it's obvious that they're caught up in an illusionary form of reality that may not be based in reality. Okay. Jump over to TikTok, because TikTokers are like, Fernando, you're gonna get I already hear y'all are awful. I love y'all, but y'all are awful. Okay, let's go over here. Let's see, iPhone, let's go to TikToks. Okay. No. So Sophie's got a good question. The spirits, let's see where we go. The spirits that talk to you, are they in limbo or purgatory? No. So there's only here and there's there. That's it. There's only two primary places that we exist in energy form. Here, there. There's no hell. There's no purgatory. None of these things that people want to apply all these ideas around. And actually the idea of purgatory and all of that came from Zoroastrianism, which was a religion that was one of the earliest religions based in one of the earliest civilizations in ancient Sumeria and stuff like that. So you need to do your homework, because a lot of the Catholic religions stole a lot of these ideas from these ancient religions that already put out these ideas, and it was a common held idea at the time. And so Zoroastrianism is one of these original religions that has some of that tied into it. But with that being said, when I'm communicating with them, all I'm doing, because when I think of the other side, I think of it as like a high-rise building. I'm on the street, right? I'm on the street, and the other side is a high-rise condominium. And so when someone passes away, right, they no longer have to be on the street with the rest of us. They don't have to deal with all the crap on the street. They get an invitation to the high rise. And so at that point, they disconnect from this physical form, which is the body, and they go into the lobby. And so when people are having experiences with spirits, and it's right after they've passed, those spirits are in the lobby. They're still able, I'm on the street and they're right there, the door's open, hey, what's up? And I can still see them. I'm still aware of them to some extent. They're aware of me, and so forth. And then once they have an opportunity to go ahead and get up on the level in the high rise, then at that point the energy starts to vibrate higher. They go to a higher spectrum of energy of being, and it is beyond our physical capability at that point to interact with them on a regular, consistent basis, because at that point it's more energetic, high spectrum, and we're still like very low level energy. And so they still exist. And it's a personality. Remember, we all exist here in form as a personality. So my personality is Fernie. Fernie is not who I authentically am at the soul level. It's a persona, a character that my soul chose to use in this lifetime based on the experiences I gained in my life. So my life produced Fernie, and it is a perspective, a lens, a magnifying glass that allows me to experience this world in this way. And so my soul is using Fernie as a way to experience this reality. But once I'm done and I'm out, then Fernie, the personality, is no longer necessary. And at that point, I revert back to my more authentic self. So I take off the costume, the Fernie costume, and I'm like, finally. It's almost like when you get home and you want to take off all your clothes and you're like, I feel so free. That's what it feels like, but like 1,000 or times a million or whatever. So when we go into the other side, we have levels and spectrums. And so the longer someone's been passed, or the higher loving being that person was in their lives, the higher spectrum they're gonna kind of calibrate to quite quickly. If people are still working through stuff, or there's stuff that they're still trying to come to terms with, even in that form, it takes a little bit longer, but they're getting there. They're still on the other side. It's not like they're in a place or a holding pattern or whatnot. So it ain't like that. So the idea of that, you can drop that. Catherine, will I be in a serious relationship soon? His name, and it's Catherine 111. No, not soon. You might start talking to someone around August. Their name starts with a B, like BR. But I don't think Brandon. Maybe like a Brandon sounding name. But I don't see a significant relationship or long-term serious relationship for you for about 2.5 years. So it might take a couple of years before that person shows up. That person's name is D-E-A-N, like a Dean Cain, like Dean, because it's got that Dean or Dane sounding name. Okay. Laura Lutz, 0. Let's see. It's funny, that's my sister's last name now, Lutz. Lutz, it's called Lutz. Laura, when will I be pregnant? There is an opportunity, or there's baby energy around you in about 12 months. So there might be some baby energy popping up around that time. By the way, y'all, when I say baby energy, when do we experience babies, right? When do we experience the baby energy? Usually if someone's pregnant, that's when we experience baby energy. If someone's having a baby shower and it's a big deal, or they're making a deal about it, that's baby energy. Or when someone's having a baby, that's baby energy. So I'm seeing baby energy around you in 12 months. So just FYI, I want to say early next year, there may be an opportunity for baby energy for you, okay? Let's see, Mindy. Boyfriend Corey blindsided me with a breakup. He was supposed to move to be together. Any insight as to why? Is this final? Yeah, I'm not feeling, I'm not feeling confident about this working out. Part of this, there's two reasons for this. One is I kind of don't feel like they're really wanting to put in the effort or the energy to change everything. And I also feel like there might be someone that they've been talking to, or there may be someone else that they've been interacting with that may have gotten them to kind of feel differently about the situation. So there might be two things that are contributing to the situation with them. But ultimately, I feel like they just, I mean, if you're not wanting to do something, you might find a reason not to do it. So it's like, I wouldn't blame this on like, oh, just because somebody else has popped into the picture or he's talking to somebody else. No, it might be just, he just didn't want to do it. And this was his way of kind of trying to like get to the point of saying, I don't want to do it, or I'm not going to do it. So that's what I'm feeling about it. Okay. Jacqueline, will I get the job at the Children's Hospital? So with the Children's Hospital, I want to say there's 3 locations, or they have 3 main like facilities, I guess you could say, in that area where you're at. I don't know where you are, but where I'm at, Houston. I mean, where I'm from, sorry, Houston. I'm in New Mexico. So I'm in Santa Fe, New Mexico. By the way, y'all, New Mexico is a state in the United States. It's not Mexico. A lot of people think New Mexico is like in Mexico. I'm like, no, y'all, it's a state right next to Texas, right between Arizona and Texas. That's where we are. But I'm in New Mexico. But in Texas, where there's Texas Children's Hospital, this is Children's Hospital, right? But when I'm thinking of like the job, I keep seeing three facilities or three locations. And I feel like there's an opportunity with one of them, even if it's not the first one that was your choice. So be aware, even if you get the job, you might not be at the location you thought you would that you want to be at. It might be a different location or a different one that comes up for you as an option. Okay. Vanessa, is Junior the one for me? So FYI, y'all, like I think as a culture, we're obsessed with thinking that someone is supposed to be for us or whatever. Because we come in with a whole lot of potentials for connections and love and relationship in life. And if we have this mindset that there's only one person in the entirety of creation that's supposed to be for us, we're screwing ourselves out of potential relationships that might be beneficial for us or help us to grow and evolve. So is Junior the one for you? I feel like there's the potential of a relationship that could go on for a long time with Junior. However, if you're expecting him to change a whole lot or for him to be a different person than he is, then you're going to set yourself up for disappointment and you're going to be really like frustrated with him. So if you can accept him for where he's at and just be there with him, then the length of time it may take for it to become more or just to evolve into more is there. It's just going to take time. So with Junior, I would say it's going to take a lot of time and he's probably not going to be what you want him to be, but he could still be something that could stick. Okay, but it wouldn't be an ideal relationship, but it is something that could go on for a bit. Can I pay to skip? See, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why I don't like people to send money because can I pay to skip the line? No, everybody has to wait. Everybody has to wait. Sorry, no, no. Um, Money doesn't give you a free ride with me. Um, Adriana, is Zach my person? I don't feel bad about the connection with Zach. I actually think that you gotta get don't overwhelm him, don't overwhelm him because when I think of you and Zach, I keep thinking of my sister and her husband before they were married, where she was like putting pressure on him and he was like every time there was too much pressure he would like slow down or he would pull away. And so with Zach, don't overwhelm him because he needs a chance to kind of catch up. And even if he puts his foot in his mouth and is like, I can do this and I can do that, nah, you're just saying that. You need to like show it, but give him a chance to catch up because you might want to move faster than he's willing to move. Also, he's still getting through or might be moving past a prior person that he was involved with or a prior relationship that's still mentally having an effect on him. So again, you might just have to be patient with Zach and give him a chance to catch up. Uh, Romeo Hotel 22. Do I need to worry about my boyfriend's friend Amy coming between us? Is it more than friends, Randy? I feel like there has been instances where it's been more than just friends, but I don't feel a relationship there or an interest for anything serious. So I'm not feeling as if it's going to be anything. So I'm not actually worried about it. Okay, what time is it? Let's bring somebody on, shall we? Let's bring somebody on. Let's go to TikTok. Bring somebody on here first because y'all waited the longest here. Let's go here. Whoops. Hi, I can't see you. You'll have to turn on your camera. There's like a little multi button. If you click that, it'll give you the option of switching it on. There you are. Hi, darling. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Before you tell me anything, if you start having a lot of heaviness in your chest with breathing, and if you also start feeling a little bit of a thumping with your heart, go get it checked out because it could be a blood pressure slash clotting issue that you need to pay attention to.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because it's almost going to feel like You know how sometimes people like when you can't feel like you can catch your breath, or it feels like you're feeling some thumping and then you can't catch your breath. It's like a feeling like that. So if you start feeling that and it becomes a regular thing, you need to go to the doctor because it could be something that you need to pay more attention to.
All right.
And your blood
Definitely
pressure
will.
will trigger it. Yeah, your blood pressure will trigger it because you've got blood pressure issues in the family. So blood pressure will trigger it.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. All right, Mom. What do you want to ask me about?
I just wanted to see if there was any messages for me. That was it.
Is someone you want to talk to, connect to? Because that could open me up to like, someone you don't even
My
care to talk to.
my granny, maybe. Or my
Your
daughter,
granny?
either one.
Okay. Um, let's start with your daughter first because I kind of want to go there first. She's putting her hand over her mouth. Whenever I get that visual, it's usually didn't get a chance to say goodbye, or it happened so fast I wasn't able to talk right before my passing. Did you not get a chance to say goodbye to her?
Yeah, she was 12 days.
Okay. Oh. So okay, got it. Because she's showing me like this wasn't an opportunity to say goodbye. Got it. Um, she's also showing me the number 5. Do you know if the 5th of a month is significant or the month of May is connected?
That's my son.
Okay.
But her birthday was the 5th.
Oh, her birthday was the 5th. Got it. So that's what she's referring to is the 5. So that's the reference there. She's showing me a necklace and 2. Do you know if there's 2 necklaces or 2 things on a necklace that are connected to her?
That I'm not for sure.
One of them is a stone, like a birthstone. So it's almost like if there were a birthstone that was her color, which I mean, like the 5, like whatever month she was born, there might be one that's a stone, but then I'm seeing something else attached to it. So do you know if there's something like a necklace with 2 things on it, one being a stone, or a charm bracelet that's because it's dangly with 2 things on it, one thing being a stone that's connected to her?
Mom might have something. I'm not for sure.
Okay, just FYI, because I'm seeing something like that, and if I see something dangling, but there's more than one, it could either be a necklace that's got two necklaces, or dangly thing like a bracelet, but it still has that same vibe to me. So just FYI with that. She also makes me. She's with you, sweetheart. She's with you. Butterflies are a sign from her, so she sends butterflies to you. So she will be your butterfly. So look out for those.
Oh.
I'm not just saying like, oh look, there's a pretty butterfly. No, it's more like a butterfly's flying around your head. It's like, what's going on here? That's what I'm talking about. So that's the daughter. With your granny, just funny. She gotta be funny because she's kind of like funny, almost like not I wouldn't say sassy, but she's like I wouldn't even say smart, being smart, but it's like there's a little sass to her. So do you know if she
Yeah.
could be a little funnier on the sassy side?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes things would be like common sense to her, or she would be like common sense, common sense. So there's like a thing about common sense with her. I'm smelling a little bit of smoke. Did she used to smoke at some point in her life?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also know if she was having a little bit of, thank you, she's pointing to her head. Um, do you know if she was having some cognitive issues towards the end of her life, where she was having difficulty with being able to stay alert or to be as focused?
That I'm not for sure.
Okay. Do y'all remember her getting her days mixed up with like when she was supposed to be having appointments or medications? You remember that she was starting to have these mix-ups towards the end?
I wasn't around that the
Okay. Because she's
more
showing
towards.
me like a little confused and like these mix-ups. Um, do you know if she was on medication when she passed?
I don't know. I wasn't around maybe the last 5 or 6 years,
Okay, so
8 years.
that's okay. Here's what she's showing me because it's almost like I'm taking stuff. It's making me loopy, so it's making me feel a little bit off, and then I also feel like I'm starting to forget stuff because she's almost making me feel some effects on her mental or brain, but it also might have started to affect her physical body or her ability to control motor because she's acknowledging some difficulty with this. She also makes me feel. Thank you. There's 2 things. Then her passing. Do you know if 2 events had occurred prior to her passing? Like either she had a stroke and then another stroke, or she had something happen and then another thing, then she passed?
The only thing that I was told is she had an aneurysm
Okay.
in her stomach.
Okay.
And that, if that busted, that could have caused other
There's
issues.
something else. It's like a bleed out because I'm seeing a bleed out, but I keep wanting to go to my brain almost as if there's like a bleed out and like something starts to bleed out. But I'm feeling a little bit cognitive off, and then I'm also feeling like I'm having less control of my faculties, and I start to like lose the ability to just do regular things. Um,
Well, she lived alone all the way up to the very end.
Okay. Do you know if it was about 2 weeks between the last time someone said they saw her, she was okay, to when she actually passed away?
I think it was only maybe a couple of days.
Okay. There's something else to it because it's almost like someone might have seen her about 2 weeks prior to her passing, and they may have seen her and thought that she was doing okay. But she's doing this like she wasn't telling anybody anything because she didn't really want anyone in her business. But she just like it's almost like it took 2 weeks for this to kind of go into this situation because I feel like it took a while. It wasn't like a right away immediate thing. But she keeps talking about her feeling a little bit off and mixing up her stuff prior to her passing, which might have been a contributing effect on her system to begin with. So there's a thing with that. She showed me the 15th actually. Do you know if the 15th of a month is connected to her?
That I'm not for sure. I don't remember her birthday, and I don't know if any of the other ones'
That's
birthdays
okay.
around that.
If you ask a family, they might be able to confirm it. But the 15th is significant or it's connected because she's making reference to the 15th. Dolly. Um, do you know if there's a Dolly or a Donnie or a Donna name connection?
Dolly sounds familiar.
Do you know if there was a woman she knew or a friend of hers named Dolly?
Might have been. I
Okay.
know there was a friend
Okay.
with the D, but I can't
Yeah.
remember for
Just
sure.
ask because she's like trying to tell us who she's with or what's going on with her there. She's fine. She's okay. But she was showing me this other person's name, so I was trying to figure that out. Um, she's fine. Also, whatever teeth issues she was having or issues with her mouth are gone. So she's like happy about this being better. So just FYI, she's just acknowledging this.
Well, she had dentures for a long time before
She's
passing.
she ain't got him anymore. So she's happy she ain't got him anymore. There's a dog there that might have been like a German Shepherd or like a brown colored dog that's also passed that may have been connected to y'all. So she's letting you know that there's a dog that's also with her.
Big fluffy one,
It was it like a brown color?
like a brownish black almost.
Okay. It's funny because I was thinking of a horse, but I wanted to say this is a dog. So I'm going to say that this is the dog, unless it had a name similar to a horse, like Charger or something like that. But there's like a name that it would be associated that may be similar to a horse, but it's connected to the brown dog.
Okay.
Okay. So you might, yeah, but just brown dog is with her. So just FYI. Okay. All right, sweetheart. Well, you take care of yourself, darling. Ask your family because they'll know some of those details that you didn't know. She's not mad at you. She wanted you to know that. I was like, okay, tell her I'm not mad at her. I'm like, okay, she's not mad at you.
Yeah, she never met two of her grandkids.
No, she's okay. She's with you, sweetheart. All right, darling. Well, you take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, let's go into another person. Let's see. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, sweetheart. You might need to turn on your camera. I think there's like a little multi button or multi guest button.
Let's turn my camera on. Hold on. There is no multi button here.
Either that or it's a little pencil.
Oh, there. Hold on.
There you are. Hey. Hi, darling. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What would you like to ask me about?
Anything about my sister?
Like messages from her?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that I want to acknowledge with her. The first thing thank you. The first thing she's showing me. Do you know if before she passed, if there had been a little bit of distance with her or with the family because she's almost like pulling away a little bit, like there was some distance, or there was another, or she lived in another state?
No.
She's doing this. So when they cover my mouth, it's usually didn't get a chance to say goodbye, or I wasn't able to be there and communicate with my passing. Were you not there when she passed?
I was, but she wasn't aware.
You think? I mean, that could be it. I'm trying to figure out where she's going with this.
Well.
Was she in a coma?
I guess so. You call it that, yeah.
Do you know there was something affecting the base of her spine or something that was affecting the spinal column?
No.
No, this might not be her. Here, let me tell you what I'm seeing, because we might be having somebody else trying to pop in. So there's a female coming forward. She's acknowledging that either there was a distance with the family or they were in a completely different state from the family. There might have been an injury that affected the base of the spine, or they may have broken their neck. But there is a situation like this with this female that I'm talking to, or that I'm seeing. She's also acknowledging not having a chance to say goodbye. So my thinking is that this either happened fairly quickly or sudden or unexpected.
Well, it could be my mother's best friend.
Okay. Do you know if there was an issue with the base of the spine, or there was something that affected or broke the neck?
But she had back problems. Yeah, she did.
Okay. Do you know if she lived in a different state or she was distanced
Well,
from your mom at the time?
She was distanced from from us.
Okay. Do you know if there's a Pam or Pamela or PA sounding name or nickname that's connected to her or to your mom?
No. Pam or no.
I'm seeing the reason why I said Pam is because I was seeing Pamela Anderson from like what is it called? Baywatch and California.
Yeah.
Is there a California connection to her or to them?
No.
Why am I seeing Pamela Anderson? There's got to be a Pamela Anderson reference, so it's got to be the name. So either the name Pam, Pammy, P.A., or Anderson is connected somehow, because that's how I'm seeing it. So either it's connected to her, connected to you, or your mom. But there's a name association that is connected somehow. But the female that I'm talking about, again, acknowledges this spinal issue. There was a sudden passing or unexpected passing. So they wouldn't have been. This wouldn't have been a lingering condition. I feel like they would have gone fairly quickly or within like a week's time. So they would have either gone downhill extremely fast, or it was a momentary, like instantaneous death. That's how I want to describe it.
Well, she was older and not doing well, but I don't think it was her granddaughter was named Cam.
Her granddaughter was Cam. I'm not 100% confident about that. Let me just put it out there. So female, feels like a sudden passing. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually fell on rocks and broke their neck, or they were in a car accident and broke their neck. But it almost feels like there's more of a suddenness to it. They're acknowledging the spinal column or the neck being associated. There's a Pam or a PA or an Anderson sounding name that is somehow connected. This might even be California if I'm misinterpreting, but there's a reference to this. And it also feels like there was a distance from the family, or they were separated from the family when this happened.
Nope, don't know any.
How are you connected to them?
I don't have that many dramatic deaths or accidents.
Are you married? Do you have in-laws?
No, I mean I'm married, but no.
Okay. Think of your in-laws. I mean, think of your spouse's family going in that direction. Do you know of a female connected to them who passed suddenly or unexpectedly? There was a neck trauma, possibly a spinal injury that leads to their passing, and possibly even leading to a coma before they actually passed.
The only one I can think of is a distant acquaintance where she fell down the steps in the back of her neck. Somebody's wife hit the neck.
Oh, juice.
No.
Okay. So I have a friend, and she was hit by a vehicle. She had all sorts of injuries, and I remember seeing her in the hospital when she was in a coma I remember that scene. I remember what happened with her. That's the whole vibe I'm getting with this female that I'm talking about. So this female that I'm talking about feels like this would have been a younger female, or it would have been, it doesn't feel like an older lady. It feels like a younger female. And this would have been a sudden or instantaneous. I want to say this happened, and then they were in a coma, and then they passed. But there was a head injury and a neck injury that might have been a contributing factor or connected to her.
No. Well,
that's okay. When you figure this out, I'm telling you, you're going to figure this out, because this happens all the time. And people, like, when they're on camera, they go blank. When you figure it out, I want you to come back to my page and I want you to post, because I want people to know that you figured out who this person was. But just FYI, this female is somehow connected to you and wants to be made known, so that you can pass on a message to the family that she's okay. They made the right decision because it feels like they let her go and they took her off life support. Okay, so that's one. So now let's get back to see if I can get your sister on the line. So with your sister, do you know the number 3 is significant or the third of a month is connected? There would be a birthday, death date, anniversary date, either the month of March or the third of a month, for her or for you. There's 2 now. There's 2 dates in the same time frame. So in the last month, were there 2 celebratory events that happened?
In March, my mother passed in March.
Okay, your mother passed away in March. Okay, that's one date. There's another date that's a celebratory date. Do you know of another date in March or on the 3rd that is also connected?
My father's birthday in March also.
Okay, so your mother and your father are both, so she passed in March, your father's birthday is in March. Okay, so those are 2 dates. Okay, now, so what's I think is going on is mom is trying to pop into the conversation and you got your sister trying to pop into the conversation and they're talking over each other. So I got some of your sister coming in, I got some of your mom coming in at the same time. So mom is probably giving me that 3 connection, and then she's also acknowledging your father and trying to make reference to your father. Okay. Now with your sister, she does do the mouth thing, but that's inability to communicate, which you've already said that was associated with her. She also talks about that there was one issue. This started as one issue, and actually they're turned into 2 or 3 separate issues simultaneously. So did you know if she had started off with this being one issue and then it's turned into 2 or 3 separate issues that just brought her down? Oop, can't hear you.
Broke down. She just fell apart. Yeah.
Okay. She also keeps acknowledging that. Thank you. She's pointing the finger at herself, and I'm like, why are you pointing the finger at yourself? And she says because it's almost like she just started to give up. So did you feel as if she just started to give in or give up towards the last month? Because she makes me feel like she was starting to give up and just didn't want to be dealing with this anymore. Okay, because she's acknowledging that. She also keeps acknowledging a location change. Do you know if there was a change of her location or a facility within that last month?
They wanted to, but they couldn't do it because she was too sick.
That's okay. She's just acknowledging that. Do you know if she had wanted to be home or wanted to just go home? Got it. So just FYI, if that wasn't able to be made possible, she's letting you know, I understand and I'm not upset about it. I get it. I get it. So she's acknowledging that. She also keeps thinking, hair. Do you know there's an H name significance?
No.
It would be an H-A. I'm thinking it's H-A-R. So I've got a friend named, I had a friend who had a last name Harrison. So I'm thinking of the Harrison, but then I'm thinking Harris, and then I'm thinking of Harry. So do you know if there's a Harris or Harry or Henry name connection? That's okay. I'm going to leave that with you. There's a Harris, H-A sounding name or reference. Harrison, Harris, Harry sounding name or reference. And this is someone that's also passed. And that's, I would say it's connected to a male. Yep. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
No, there were no H names.
Okay, there is
No.
connected to. There is. Okay, I would disagree with you. There is because they're referencing it and they're being like they're hitting me with it twice, a few times. So there is an HA name. There's a person there who's got this H name that is connected as well somehow to y'all. So just FYI, there's an H name also there.
Okay.
This would be connected to a place where there was like a butcher's or where there was like a deli. So just FYI, where that would be coming from. Okay. Your sister, she's also acknowledging the number 11. Do you also know if the 11th of a month or November is also connected?
November. No. Well, that's my daughter's birthday.
Okay. She's also showing me a baby. Do you know if either there's a baby reference with your daughter or if there is a reference with an announcement coming in?
Well, she had a child.
Okay. So just FYI, was your sister, she have the child before your sister passed or
Yeah.
after?
Yes. No, before.
Before? Okay. Just FYI, there might be another baby coming in, or there may be something else happening because she's almost acknowledging this repeating thing or baby announcement. She acknowledged it with your daughter. So just FYI, there's association there as well. Your sister says thank you. So she wants to say thank you because she understands what you tried to do. She also says she heard you. So even if she couldn't communicate back or she wasn't able to communicate with you, she heard you. So she's letting you know that. Okay. She also keeps thank you. Do you know if she had to have something wrapped around her head or wrapped around her hair?
When she passed, she had she had the respirator on her face wrapped
No,
around.
it's like whenever someone's hair starts to fall out or they're not able to do what they are used to doing with their hair, so they wrap it or they wrap it up.
Well, they had her. Well, she had long hair like me, so she had it in a bun. But they had the respirator was wrapped around her whole head, like
Okay.
to hold the mask on.
I don't think that's it. There's something else because she's well, unless you try to like adjust it or try to make her comfortable because she keeps talking about this making her like trying to make her more comfortable. She's talking about what was wrapped around her head. So there's something there that she's making reference to.
She started out with the mask, the CPAP mask, which was tight, and when she was awake during that. But when they put on the respirator, she was completely out.
Okay. So I was assuming that she was referring to hair, like actual hair. So just FYI, this may be referencing something else and not the machine, but there's almost like an adjustment or like this is not an issue. So she's acknowledging this as well. She's also, thank you. Do you know about a ring that is either like a bluish or a greenish tinge? That's kind of like a sapphire?
No.
Okay. This might be connected to mom because mom is still part of the conversation. Do you know there's a bluish or sapphire colored ring? It's like a bluish or a greenish color.
No.
Okay, so there's a ring that's got a bluish or greenish color. Just FYI, if you look into it, there's a ring because they're acknowledging it and they're sticking with it. They're not letting me go. So just FYI, there's a ring there.
Okay.
So, okay, you need to go back over this recording because there's a lot there that you may not have understood in a moment, but I'm telling you, there's a lot more there. So go back over that recording when it's posted. Okay. All right, sure. They're with you. I believe they're with you. I believe they were giving some information that you just didn't click with right away. Go back over the recording because there's a lot there.
Okay. No, I will.
Yeah. All right, sweetheart. You take care of yourself, okay, honey?
So much.
You're welcome, darling. Bye-bye. All right. Going somewhere else. Let me see.
Going live.
Hello.
Hello there.
Were you announcing you were going live?
My husband. I want my husband in here, but I got to get the I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I think it's a multi-button.
A multi. And okay, so I have to push that. Get in here, Mike.
Why?
But this is a psychic.
There you are.
Have you seen me?
There you are. You're back.
Oh, okay.
All right,
it's
darling.
dark
How you
in
doing?
here. Hi, good.
So, what would you like to ask me about?
Well, I was turn the one behind me on, honey. If you have any messages for us from our son, if you see anything around us.
Yeah. I'm seeing the number 11. Do you know if the 11th of a month or November is significant?
November 11th.
Either November or the 11th of a month.
No.
Okay. So I'm seeing that 11. So there's either an 11 date that's significant or the month of November there's a date of significance.
November or 11. No.
Okay.
Oh, the lighting is terrible.
It's okay. No, you're like fine. Okay. So just FYI, there is an 11, either the 11th of a month, any month, or November. There's a date there that's significant, either birthday, death day, anniversary date. It's either for him or for y'all. But there's a date there that's significant because he's acknowledging that. Because what he showed me was he took me immediately to the end of the year and I saw November, which was Thanksgiving, and then I saw Christmas. And he was trying to bounce me around there. So I want to say there's a date that starts off in November or 11th, and then it went over into December.
Okay. We had his memorial in December. But yeah, well, it could be that we had a memorial for him.
Now, in November, did you notice his behavior changing or some things changing with the way he was feeling?
No, he had passed before that.
Okay, because
Yeah.
he's okay. Because what he's showing me is he's showing me that when I'm asking what the November is, because he's talking about the December date, that there was something right there before Christmas. So then he was showing me that 11, and it was as if there was something there that was significant that was a part of the 12. So do you know there was another date that was celebrated or that he was acknowledged on in the 11th that is announcement based?
Mm-mm. No, I can't.
Do you know of a J name that's like James or Jamie or Jimmy or J is a J name that's like a friend?
Gosh, he had a lot of friends.
So what I'm seeing, because I'm trying to figure out how he's showing it to me. Sometimes people, they might be mentioned if there's like an event or if there's something going on. What I was seeing either a
Oh,
field or a school, and I was trying to figure out what this was that he's referring to being mentioned in an event. So there might have been an event that happened that honored him or he was acknowledged in, and then there's this other date in December that he mentioned. So that was the memorial. So there's another date in 11 that is connected to him as well, where there was a mentioning or an honoring of him in some way. So I'll leave that with you because you might have to ask friends. And this would be connected to a J name friend, like a Jamie or a Johnny or a Jimmy or a Josh. So this is like a J name, short J name.
Okay.
So short. Okay. He also keeps, thank you. Was his passing sudden or unexpected? Y'all did not expect him to pass when he did?
No.
Okay. Because he makes me feel like this was pretty fast. So he's acknowledging that. He also puts his hand over his mouth. Did y'all not get a chance to say goodbye?
Nope.
Okay.
We nope.
Got it. He also keeps pointing the finger at himself. Do you know if his actions led to his own passing?
We
I don't.
believe, yes.
Okay. I don't feel an intent. I feel more like I'm being careless or I'm being reckless. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also know if when he passed, if he had substances or had been drinking?
He could have been. Yes.
Okay. Because I feel like I'm not paying attention or I'm not in my right mind to be doing what I'm doing, and then this happens, and that's the way I want to describe it. I'm also feeling a little bit of a hit. Do you know if there was any trauma to his head or to this area of his body?
He had issues. I don't know how much you want me to tell you.
Well, because I feel like I'm stumbling. So what he's showing me, which is why I'm thinking of it this way. So I once went to a Backstreet Boys concert. I got a little drunk because it was a Backstreet Boys, right? I was excited. I saw my Kevin at the Backstreet Boys concert. And when we were leaving and they were like, everybody was cheering or whatever. And I started running like a maniac.
Right.
And I was excited and I was stumbling and just all over the damn place. And so he's making me feel this level of stumbling and being very, just not coordinating my movements and my body in the right way. Right. Did you know if something like that was a part of the process of him when he passed?
We suspect that's what it was. He had an issue in his brain.
Okay, because he's acknowledged. I feel like I'm losing,
and it did
control. Control.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm wobbling like a fool, like I'm wobbling in the street.
Epilepsy.
Like I feel like weird. Yeah.
Epilepsy.
And so he's almost making me feel like I'm wobbling.
Yes.
So he's showing me this.
Yes.
He also makes me feel like what was going into his system was contributing, but wasn't the cause. But it contributed because it pushed his system past its ability to keep up with what he was trying to do. Do you understand that?
That's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't feel like this was intentional. I feel like this was just an accidental freak thing that happened.
Yes.
And he was just being careless and didn't realize this was going to have the effect on his body that it did.
Yes.
Okay. So he's showing me that. He also makes me feel like he felt a little odd leading up to this event because something wasn't regulating or balancing out in his system.
Right.
So he's making me feel like something was off. Do you know the year that this happened, if he had changed a medication or switched to a new medication?
Yes.
Because he's acknowledging that. So there's a reference there. Now he's showing me the number 5. Do you know if the 5th of a month or May is connected?
Yes.
Okay. Because he's acknowledging that as well.
He's birthday.
Making me a necklace, and I'm seeing the number 3. Do you know if there's 3 necklaces that are significant or if there's a reference to remains and a necklace?
Okay. Yes, I have it. I could show it to you. I wear it every day.
Perfect. So he knows about the necklace that you have with the remains, and then he showed me the number 3. Do you know if there's 2 others of them or if there's 3 on the necklace?
Well, he's got 2 brothers and himself. That's 3.
Okay.
And his birthday is March.
Oh, got it. Then that would just be the association. So he's just acknowledging that. So he's just confirming that for me as well. He also is showing me music. Do you know if he had wanted to play an instrument or wanted to play music or in a band, but it was a little bit more of a struggle for him?
Yes.
Okay. Because he's
Yeah.
showing me himself almost like he's playing music now. So he's showing me
Yeah.
what he can do now. So he's like, Mom, look what I can do. Look what I
He's
can
doing
do.
it. Oh,
So
yeah.
he's doing it. So he's acknowledging that. He's also
Awesome.
showing me a shirt and then a dedication. Do you know if someone wanted to work on an artistic shirt that was a dedication to him? Or if there was something artistic he did that was put on a shirt?
He's done amazing things with art. Yes.
Okay. Because it's almost like I feel like someone's going to take a piece of art or something he actually made and put it on clothing or put it on something.
You know what? Okay.
Okay.
I think
So
I know
he's
what
showing me
you're
that. He's also talking about the mention in a paper or mention in a local publication. So did you know if he was also mentioned or there was an honorary mention of him in a publication or in a local magazine?
You know what? There was actually.
Okay.
There was. Yes.
Perfect.
There was.
So he's acknowledging that. He knows about this as well. So he's making
Okay.
reference to this.
And that
He
was
likes
after.
the mess.
That was
The what?
after he had. That was after that he had passed. That his friend Sophia had reached out and said, "You have to look. Aaron's in this book." So
Perfect.
yes, yes.
Acknowledging he knows about it. He's
Oh.
also he's shown it's so interesting because when I'm like show me what you want to. He shows himself to me in the air flying like a bird. So there might be a symbolic reference of him flying like a bird or being free and flying. So there might even be a saying somewhere of him flying free or no longer confined to his body. So he's acknowledging this mention and then the reference to the bird, and that is how he feels now. He feels free. There's a baby sibling that's there that didn't make it. So do you know there was a baby that was miscarried, lost, or terminated?
For Aaron, a baby for him,
Either for him or for you.
not for me. For him.
Okay.
Does he have the baby?
Yeah, because he's acknowledging a baby with him in spirit that's connected. So because what he was showing me is my mom's youngest. She had a baby sister named Margaret who passed away and didn't make it. And so he was showing me that, and so I had to twist it into his meaning for him. So he's showing me that. So he's got the baby sibling that's with him that didn't make it. So he's letting you know that as well.
Okay.
Living on a prayer. I'm hearing Bon Jovi. Living on a prayer. I love you. He says I love you.
Oh, I'm an ugly crier. I'm not going to do
No,
that.
you're fine. You're fine.
No, I'm really
they're
an
my
ugly
heroes.
crier.
They're my heroes. They're my heroes. So I think he's
Oh
referring to
yes, he used to
they're
say
my
that.
heroes. They're my
Papa
heroes.
D. Yes.
Yeah, so they're my heroes. They're my heroes. So he's wanted to just say it again. He feels like y'all are his heroes, and if that's what he used to say, he's repeating it to make sure you understand.
Yeah.
He
Does
is
he
with
talk? Does he talk about? Can I ask you to ask Bella about Bella, or does he? I know he's around her.
2. Do you know the 2 is connected to her in some way? Or the number 2 is significant?
No, we just had 2 new babies that
Okay.
came after his passing. That were not supposed to be. I figured he had an awful lot to do with that.
Well, he says 2, so I think he's referring to 2. So I would say that that's the way we can interpret it.
Maybe Phoebe and Jameson.
Who is Bella to him?
Daughter.
Okay.
We've raised her since birth.
Got it. Yeah, then that would make sense then, because if he's acknowledging Bella and then the 2, so he's acknowledging Bella and then the 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He's messed with y'all's electricity and flickered lights and TVs. So just know that's him doing that, because he's using that to let you know he's around y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right, my dear. He is with you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so
welcome,
much.
darling. Absolutely.
All right,
You take care of yourself,
you.
darling.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
All right, so I'm going to switch over to a little bit over, but I'm going to do a couple more because I haven't even done any for Instagram. All right, so I'm going to switch over to a little bit over, but I'm going to do a couple more because I haven't even done any for Instagram. So let me jump over here real quick and do one for Instagram. because I've been on TikTok. I've been a TikTok whore today, so I'm like, let me jump over here. Sometimes this is why sometimes y'all, because sometimes when I'm doing readings, if something is going longer and the person's just not connecting with the information, I don't ever assume that it's because I'm wrong or that they're not they're saying no because that's true. I always think that it's because either I'm misinterpreting or they're not putting the dots together. So sometimes I'm like, let me give it as much as I can, but at some point I just have to stop it because it will lead to a thing, and I'm not getting anything across. It's like, we got to go back, watch the recording, listen to what I said, because there's something there that you're not catching. So that's why I always sometimes I just have to cut it, even if it's not coming across clearly enough for them. Come over here, see. No, yes, no. Oh, there we go. Hello. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
I just wanted to ask you, basically, I'm currently in a relationship and I don't know, like he kind of wants to move forward and go forward, but I don't know if it's the right person for me.
Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing, yeah. So I'm seeing number 3. How long have y'all been talking or dating or seeing each other?
5 years.
Okay, so I'm still seeing the relationship. So I'm still seeing
Yeah.
it for another 3 years. So even though they're wanting to go forward and you're not sure, I'm still seeing the relationship for another 3 years. So I'm thinking nothing's really going to change and it's going to continue for another 3 years. I do think that you need to honor and listen to what you want. Because I feel like sometimes you're just too accommodating for other people in your life, and you don't always make yourself the priority. And I feel like you probably do that because that might shift the trajectory of everything. But as of right now, I'm still seeing the relationship continuing, and I'm seeing 3 more years of the interaction with this person.
So you mean in 3 years you see it ending, or in 3
At
years?
3 years, yeah. So I would say at the end of a 3 year period, at that point something changes, and the likelihood is that y'all are not going to be together after 3 years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I know. I just feel like there's a lot of weird things going on. Like I've seen, like, part of me tells me like he's bisexual or he's interested in something else, and but he says he's not. But I don't know. Part of me tells me that he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can be bisexual. The good thing about being bisexual is you can go either way. So,
Yeah.
you can be with a male or you can be with a female. You can have a family with a male or a female. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're safety for him. So I feel like you give him a feeling of safety, that mother energy. But again, sometimes you say yes when you don't feel the need to say yes, and you should probably say something different.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
All
Also,
right.
with my current job, do you see me continuing down this path or like kind of changing a path in my career?
I do see you changing jobs. I actually see that changing in about April or May of next year, so almost a year from now. What's interesting is I keep seeing you working for a legal organization or an organization or company that's got law attached to it somehow. So you might be
Okay.
getting into something at that time that's a little bit different than what you're doing.
Okay. I also had one more question. I want to eventually have be like in real estate. Do you see me buying anything soon?
As far as like in the real estate industry, like working in real
Like
estate?
property.
No, I don't see that. I do think that at some point you'll end up owning a house that has like an attachment to it and then rent out that attachment. But I'm not actually seeing you like buying property to use it as an investment completely.
Okay. And last question. Do
Take
you
about
see me
three
having
and a half
kids?
years. It might take 3.5 years for that to happen.
Okay. Do you see me
Okay.
having kids?
I do. I see 2 kids for you. But
Oh,
they may happen a little bit later on.
okay. Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
so much.
You're welcome, darling. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, going somewhere else. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not walking today because it's freaking like windy as hell outside, so I can go a teeny bit longer on here, just to get a couple more in. Hello, Caitlin. 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 She probably went to the bathroom, y'all. Caitlin. She probably went to the bathroom. I was like, all right, Caitlin, I chose you. I selected you. So we're going to try again at a later time. So I selected you because I'm seeing a white room with a ceiling that's white, and I'm seeing a black chair that's empty, nobody in it. So I'm assuming you have to go to the bathroom. So, all right. So I'll look for you again, okay? Funny because I was gonna like randomly tell her a bunch of these like incredible things that I was seeing happening in her career. So it's interesting. She didn't even there to receive the message. That's okay. She's like, I'm gonna go. He's probably gonna be done anyways, and then they take off. Let's see. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
And good in yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. You look fine. Stop worrying about your.
Come on, I look a mess.
No, you know what? We're normal. We're human beings. We don't ever look like our ideal selves. Like this camera makes my skin look crazy.
I know. I'm like, oh my God. Nobody sees me in glasses.
I know, girl. It don't matter. It don't matter. What do you want to ask me about?
Hi. Well, my dad's recently passed away in November on the 24th, the day before Thanksgiving.
Don't too much. You're telling me too much. You want me to connect with your dad, right?
Okay. Yes.
Let me connect with your dad because you're telling me all the details. I'm like, what am I supposed to tell you? All right, let me connect with dad. Got it. So when I connect with dad, thank you. Did your dad have a brother who's also passed?
Yes.
Okay, because he's with his brother, so he's letting us know that he's with his brother. Your dad is putting to his heart. Do you know if there was a cardiac event or a heart attack that was a part of his passing?
No, he was shot.
Okay. Do you know if it was in the chest?
Yes, it was.
Do you know there was also 4 shots, but he got shot twice?
Yes.
Okay. Do you also know if the 13th of a month is significant?
13th? No.
Okay. I'm seeing Friday the 13th. Do you know if Friday the 13th is significant or there's a symbol or meaning?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm almost thinking of the movie Friday the 13th and Jason because I'm thinking of Jason, the character. So just FYI, or there's a reference to the name Jason. But just FYI because I'm seeing Friday the 13th.
Okay.
He also keeps showing me, thank you. Do you know if there's a, do you have his cap or his hat?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't have.
Do you know if he collected hats or he had like a collection or there was like?
Yeah, he did. He had a couple of hats.
Did he like to be like real picky about his stuff? Didn't want anyone touching his stuff or don't mess with my stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he also like to smell good? Because he makes me, I'm smelling like.
Oh yeah, always, always.
Okay. Do you also know there was a little bit of a mark or a scar right next to his lip or right here on the side of his lip?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's just showing himself to me. So he's just trying to give me a sense of this. He knew better than to be where he was when this happened, and he's blaming himself because he knew better. But he says that it's still not my fault. It's not my fault. So he's saying that it's not his fault, but he knew better than to be where he was when this happened. He also is feeling a little bit brokenhearted. Thank you. He's like about brokenhearted in his friend. Was a friend with him, or was a friend there that was almost like they didn't stick around, or they like kind of took off before this all happened?
I'm not sure I know my uncle was on his way over there, but not with him.
Okay, because he's almost acknowledging feeling brokenhearted and referencing a friend or like someone who was supposed to be there with him at the same time. So that, I mean, they weren't there, or they didn't show up. So there's something to this, or someone left too early because he's acknowledging that. He also, thank you, Chris. Do you know there's a Chris or Christopher connection?
No.
Chris, there's a Chris connection. So there's a Chris connection. How much do y'all know about the people that were involved with this?
Not very much, to be honest.
The name Chris is someone connected to this. So just FYI, if y'all hear about it or they mention this name Christopher, Christian sounding name is connected somehow because he's making me reference that. He's driving in. Do you know if he had a snake tattoo on his arm or on his body? Or it's either a snake or a rope.
I'm sorry, I cut off.
Yeah. Do you know if he had a snake-shaped tattoo on his body or a rope-shaped tattoo?
No.
Did he have tattoos?
Yeah, he had a lot.
Okay. There's like a snake or a rope. It could be a thorn, like a rose that's like swirled like a snake, but it's got like, but he's showing me something that looks like that, and it's right here on his arm, but he's showing me something there. So you might have to look because he's showing me something like that. Okay. He also makes me did show up in the dreams. did you have two dreams about him since his passing?
Yeah.
He loves you. He is sorry that y'all are having to deal with all of this. He also says he wishes you could be prouder of him, because he says he feels like he could have done more while he was here, and he feels like he didn't do enough to make you proud of him. So he's apologizing, and he's saying he loves you, and he says he's proud of you though, and he wants you to know that, and he says he's proud of you. He also says thank you. Did you start a school program and then you decided to go back, or you went back?
No.
Okay, there's almost something like I started something and I wasn't going to finish it, and then I decided I was going to go back into it.
No, maybe my older sister.
There's a nurse association or healthcare with this. So someone either left, then is going back, or they decided to go into the healthcare, but they were going to initially do it, didn't, and then they went back into it.
My older sister.
Okay, he's just acknowledging the sister. So he's trying to bring her into the conversation and acknowledge her, that he's proud of her. So just let her know that he's proud of her. There's also
Okay.
2 days on May and June. Do you know there's 2 days of significance in May and June?
May and June. No, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's
Be like a birthday and an anniversary date, or a death date and a birthday. There's like right next to each other, and there's one in June and one in May.
no, I don't know if it's like my other siblings on the other side.
Because I'm seeing 5 and 6, so it's the 5 and the 6, or May and June. But there's 2 right next to each other, because he's acknowledging that. So there's a reference there. Okay.
Okay.
Maya. Maya. Do you know there's a Maya sounding name or nickname?
No, I don't know if it's like from his previous relationship, so I'm not sure.
That's not it. I'm almost thinking of like a young girl or a child.
Beliana, I have a sister named Beliana.
That's not it. This is like Maya, or
My little sister. I don't know if it's my little sister.
Maya or Maya is like it sounds like that.
Yeah, well, her name's Monroe.
Oh, okay. What's the nickname? What does she go by?
Honestly, I have no idea. I wasn't really around. She's
That's
a
okay.
baby, so.
What's I think is going on is he's trying to acknowledge the different kids or the different children, and he's trying to give me a nickname. But there's a nickname for
Yeah.
him. So just FYI, ask, because you might get that nickname and it sounds a lot like what I'm saying.
Okay.
We just trying to acknowledge her. He's okay, sweetheart. He's fine. He's not suffering. He's okay. He did not expect to pass the way he did, but he always said he never thought he would live a full life, because he used to tell people this.
Yeah, he told us that a lot.
Yeah, and he always said, he's like, I try to tell y'all. He's kind of being about it. Like, I tried to tell you. Don't act like you're surprised. Like, but I'm like, obviously, dude. Like, this is your daughter, so you're gonna ask. But he's fine, sweetheart. He is with you. He's okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right, darling. You take care of yourself.
Thank you. That meant a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome, baby. Bye-bye. Let's see. All right. Let me do a couple more comment ones, and then I'm gonna bounce off of here. Yeah, Brandy, do you know what happened during my surgery? It was supposed to be 2 hours and turned into 6 in ICU. Yeah, I feel like what happened is that they couldn't regulate your blood sugar because there was either a rupture or a bleed out that was hard to kind of stabilize, and it started to lead to a drop in your blood pressure, and then they had to go in and repair that, because it's almost like you're going in and doing one thing, and then instead there's a rupture of something else, and then you have to like, oh crap, and then they have to go in and try to work on that. So I feel like there was 2 separate things that were happening simultaneously, which is why it led to you being in the ICU. A similar thing happened with my mom when they were working on her shoulder. She was in there. It was supposed to be like a 4-hour procedure, and it turned into an 11-hour procedure, and she ended up in the ICU for 2 weeks. So, yeah. Yeah, unique mystery. My son passed away 6 months ago. Does he have a message for me? Tattoo. There might be a tattoo connected to him, and also he showed me a butterfly. So there might be a butterfly reference to this, or you have an experience with butterflies as well, because he's showing both of those to me. Okay. Let me go back over here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going a little longer today. Normally, right now, I'd be on my walk because I use walking in nature, walking with children in nature. I walk in nature to like ground myself. But today we have like these like crazy windstorms. It's like wind gusts of like 75 miles per hour. I'm like, that's like hurricane weather from back up in Houston weather. So I was like, oh no, we ain't walking. So yeah, so I was like, well, I'll be on here a little bit longer. It's funny because I started off with a huge headache in my head before I got on here, and I had to take some acetaminophen just to kind of get that under control so I could do the readings. And now I'm like, I'm ready to like do more. So I'm like, wait a minute, Fernie, calm down, slow your roll, Fernie. You think you can do all this extra? You need to like monitor your energy, boy, because you're gonna go crazy and you're gonna burn out. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. There's like a spammer and here on Facebook. So it's like all I'm seeing is like just like very few questions. I'm like, okay, what the hell? Um, Betty, hi, Franny. I just started a new job. Do you see it working out for me? I think I'll stick with it for about a year and a half, and then after that, I feel like you're gonna end up going with a different job option. So I think you'll do it for about a year and a half, and then actually, no, I take that back. After a year and a half, you get an opportunity to promote or to go into another role, may even be in another location or in a different place. So, but it still feels like it's the same company. So it's just a change of position. But yeah, I would say that it may work out for you after a year and a half. Position change or role change, maybe a different location, but I feel like it'll still work for you and it'll be good. Okay. Um, Nicole Ortiz, do you see my boyfriend and I buying a house soon? Um, Yeah, I want to say this is in about 7 months. So, and it feels like it's a fixer upper. So be prepared because it's almost going to be something that y'all may not stick to and maybe turned into like a flip or like a property where y'all can make some money off of it. Okay. All right, guys, I think I'm done. Oh, don't worry, guys. On Facebook, he'll get banned, so he won't even be a problem in the future. I was like, why would you spend 30 minutes of your time just like trash talking? Like you could go and help a homeless person, or you can go and feed someone. You can go do something. Because I'm doing this for free. You're doing this for free, but you're just being an ass. So why would you do that for 30 minutes of your time? Why not do something constructive or helpful for somebody else? But it's like sometimes what happens is people just get like they get obsessed with it, or they like really want to like establish their own value and worth. So they start trying to make themselves seem like they have something to contribute, and they don't really contribute anything. And so it becomes just a waste of energy, honestly. All right, guys, I think I'm done. Let me see. Being my job, like it's the one for me. Sammy Joe. Hello, do you see me being successful at my job? Like, is it the one for me? I'm not feeling confident about it. I actually think that once you get closer to like July or August, you're going to be like, this isn't for me. But what I think is going to end up happening is you're going to end up going into a program at the beginning of the year. So like January of 2023, you'll start in a program that I want to say is probably either medical related or has to do with the medical industry. And then that will start you off in a completely different direction. Okay. All right, guys. I love you all. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will be back on Wednesday of next week for readings and lives. Okay.